Hi, everybody. We are broadcasting today live from Zambia. I'm Dr. Maria Montero. I'm the Associate Director of Clinical Services for the Flying Eye Hospital in Orbis. In 2021, Women in Ophthalmology, Seva Foundation, and Orbis International came together to organize a series of webinars being broadcast around the globe on hot local and global topics in ophthalmology. Today's coffee hour is going to be about mentorship with our colleagues here from Zambia. I want to thank our sponsors, Alton Foundation, Women in Ophthalmology, and Seva Foundation for this. So just some housekeeping tips for you. Please mute your microphones if you are not trying to speak. If you do want to talk or make a comment, please raise your hand, or you can also type in the chat box that's below you in the Zoom screen. Okay, so I'm going to introduce you to our lovely group of panelists. First, we have Dr. Zipporah Phiri, the Senior Medical Superintendent at University Teaching Hospital. She's an ophthalmologist with over 15 years experience. She's a pioneer female visual retinal specialist in Zambia and currently the only one employed by the public sector. She has also served as the head of training and research at UTH, head of clinical care at UTH, and the head of curriculum development subcommittee of the Education and Accreditation Committee for COEXA. Thank you, Dr. Phiri, for being here with us. Next, we have Dr. Phyllis Munga from the National Eye Care Coordinator. She is a glaucoma specialist at the University Teaching Hospital. She's also the National Eye Health Coordinator for the Ministry of Health. Dr. Munga is affiliated with the Zambia Medical Association, the Zambia Ophthalmological Society, and the Congress of Ophthalmology for Eastern, Central, and South Africa. Thank you. Next, we have Dr. Grace Mutati, consultant ophthalmologist at Maina Soko Medical Center, formerly the first senior medical superintendent at University Teaching Hospital. Dr. Mutati is a consultant ophthalmologist at Maina Soko Medical Center and an honorary consultant at Levi Mzwana University Teaching Hospital. In addition, she serves as Vice Chairperson, Alliance and Zambia Board, Senior Lecturer, University of Zambia, School of Medicine Vice President, and Founding Fellow of Zambia College of Medicine and Surgery. She was the award recipient of IAPB Vision Excellence Award in 2021. Thank you, Grace. Next, we have Dr. Miluma Serenge. She's a consultant ophthalmologist at Maina Soko Medical Center. She's a young ophthalmologist based at this Maina Soko Medical Center. She's a Master of Medicine in Ophthalmology from the University of Zambia, a Fellow of the College of Ophthalmology of Eastern, Central, and Southern Africa, and will soon graduate with a Master of Surgical in Clinical Ophthalmology from the University of Edinburgh. Next, we have Judith Munfali, Chief Nursing Officer at the University Teaching Hospitals. She's the Chief Nursing Officer for the University Teaching Hospital, has a master's degree in public health with a major in health policy and management, as well as reproductive, maternal, newborn, and child and adolescent health. She has a background in operating theater and a registering nursing, and was elevated to being Chief Nursing Officer from the position of Senior Theater Superintendent. And last but not least, we have Lucia, who is the Country Director of Orbis International Zambia. Lucia joined Orbis in October 2015 and has been the organization's Country Director from 2019. She has a background in development and public health, having worked in the development sector for 19 years. Lucia found her passion in eye health after joining Orbis, as giving people the gift of life is special. Thank you all. So we're going to start our first section, which is mentorship. And I'm going to ask Dr. Phiri, can you share how mentorship has been influential in your life or career?
Thank you very much, Maria, for that question. For me, I would say mentorship has brought values to my life, socially and career-wise. And socially, I would say that the values I still uphold today came from the informal mentorship that I got during my early formative years of life, of childhood. And they mainly came from both my parents, the extended family members, church members, and this type of mentorship imparted social values, moral and religious values. I'll give examples. For example, being honest. This is a value which influences me to lead a life of transparency and accountability. Another example I'll give is having respect for others, regardless of their socioeconomic status. The other example I'll give is having a very large and forgiving heart. So this value I have helps me work with many different people, even those that I've differed with before, very well. I don't return evil for evil because I'm a Christian and I believe that vengeance belongs to the Lord, okay? And another value that I uphold actually comes from a verse in the Bible, which states that whatever your hands finds to do it with all your might. So using this value, I have applied it even when it comes to surgery, when it comes to everything that I do. I make sure that I do it to the best of my ability. So all these values that I acquired socially influence most of the choices that I make in my life today. Then career-wise, I would say career-wise, I received mainly formal mentorship. And this was mainly during my residency training at the University of Nairobi in Kenya, and during my medical and surgical retina training in India, as well as in Tanzania. So during residency, I was assigned a general mentor. I was assigned supervisors for my dissertation and surgical teachers at the training site, as well as at practicum sites where I visited during my elective terms. And during my fellowship training, I had Dr. Atu as my mentor in India. Then I also had Dr. Makupa as my mentor in Tanzania. So the frequent interactions I had with all these, my teachers, has influenced my life positively career-wise in various ways. And I'll give examples. I was taught never to give up. And this actually came from my teacher of retina surgery. As I operated, he always sat in theater with me and cheered me on, and he would say, retina surgeons, don't give up. Push, move on, finish the case, okay? This type of pushing built my confidence levels to what it is today. And I must say, nowadays, no matter how difficult a case I come across, I always have hope that I can make it, and it gives me the drive to soldier on. The other example I'll give is that my interaction with these mentors influenced the choices I made that hinged on my professional development. For example, I would sit and watch my mentors watch. I would sit and watch my mentors operate critically, and I would watch their technique. Okay, and through doing that, I was able to identify the gaps I had in my own skills, and this has actually helped me improve. The interaction also influenced the interests I developed and the choice of my, especially super specialization that I have found myself in today. Okay, so the other thing that these interactions have brought to my life is knowing the power of consultation, because the interactions built a network of both senior and junior colleagues from various specialties in eye health throughout the Eastern, Central, and Southern Africa, as well as Asia. Okay, these interactions taught me that one person cannot know everything, and hence consultation is very important amongst colleagues, especially in the medical field. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Phiri. That was lovely, and I think that we can all relate to those very good advices. Next, Grace. If mentorship hasn't been part of your career, or if it has, where could mentorship be helpful in your career? How can mentorship be helpful, or how was mentorship helpful in your career? And what advice would you give others?
Thank you, Maria. For me, mentorship has been very informal. I can put it into 3 stages: the pre-training stage, the training stage, and of course the post-training. Pre-training, it was where you are sitting with your consultant and they are there guiding you And they build that confidence in you because each time they tell you, no, you have what it takes to do ophthalmology. So it was that confidence building pre-training. That's what made me now think, let me do ophthalmology as a career. When I went into training, again, it was very informal. However, working closely with the consultants, sometimes they'll guide you through a presentation. After a presentation, they'll say, oh, that was a very good presentation. That alone, again, gave me that confidence building. So the first 2 stages more of building that confidence that I needed to take up this career. When I graduated as an ophthalmologist, it was now a different ballgame. Everybody thinks you know everything. You are the consultant. So I had more of a consultative sort of relationship with my other colleagues. Yeah. And during this period, I learned that I needed to make decisions. Sometimes making decisions on your feet and a right decision at the right time. That was very important. And I learned from other colleagues. Then I also learned how to interact with different people. People who are outside my career, patients, my colleagues, junior colleagues, senior colleagues. There's a difference in the way I should direct or communicate to a senior colleague. Having been a junior there, it was not right for me, say in OPD, to leave the clinic and tell the consultant, oh, I've finished my patients, I'm going. That was unheard of. I had to be the first one in the OPD and the last one to leave. If it's a theater day, I had to be the one to make the list. I had to be the first one on that theater day to make sure everything is ready before the consultant comes. And I had to be the last one to leave that theater. So it's been all sort of a gradual growth, you know, and I'm just hoping that our young ones can somehow pick up some of these small things that you think are small. Dealing with patients, there's a way in which you should address the patient. The way in which you talk to a patient who is just received bad news, you know. So all those things, having attached myself to a consultant, I could see. Then the other thing I learned was I had to appreciate that informal mentor. Make them know that I appreciate the time they're spending to mentor me. And also congratulate them on their successes. You know, when they've done something that is really, you know, say, oh, that was a very good presentation, sir. Oh, madam, that was a very good approach you made, you know. Oh, I love the way you helped me out through that surgery. I was actually almost crying when you came to my aid. So the mentor also needs that feedback from the mentee, you know, that they're doing good for those people. Yeah. So that's what I've learned. Thank you.
I love that. Yeah, I always say that residents, everybody needs feedback.
Yeah.
Otherwise, how do you know if you're doing a good job or a bad job?
Yeah, exactly.
Thank you for that, Grace. Okay, so Judith, what are some strategies you have used to approach a mentor? There we go.
Thank you, Maria. So allow me to maybe give a simple definition of what mentorship is. Mentorship is simply building of relationships between the mentor and one or more mentees. So when you build those relationships, you are going to be able to guide and advise the mentees accordingly. So as you guide and advise, you'll be able to allow them to learn, to develop, and all in all, to build their profession. They'll be able to be good at what they do, just like how their mentor is. So again, I wish to mention that mentorship and leadership is synonymous. I'm a nurse leader. I oversee a big number of nurses,
So it is important that as a leader, I also have some mentorship practices. So as I give out those practices, I need to use strategies like you have said. And the most important strategy is to role model best practices. So as a mentor, I need to be a role model, show my mentees how to do things accordingly and professionally. I'll take an example of punctuality. I'm supposed to be early at work. That is time management. So if I'm early at work as a mentor, it means that even the mentees will do the same. Everybody will be in time for work, will be in time to take care of our patients. As you know that nursing, the core business of nursing is to take care of patients. And as nurses, we are the only cadre that stays with patients for 24 hours using systems that have been put in place. So we do shifts. We are able to hand over from one shift to the other shift, how we have looked after a patient and allow for continuity of care. Also, I encourage open communication. It's very important that communication is open and effective, because when it's open and effective, even the mentees will approach you at any time because they know that you are available, they know that you are accessible, so they will approach you to give feedback to you, as well as you giving feedback to them if there is need for feedback. So the systems which are in place have really helped me as a nurse mentor and a nurse leader. I've actually done a training in clinical mentorship, and I've been one of the mentors who have gone around the whole country to mentor theater nurses. My background is theater nursing. So I do that very well because it's something that I've done like all the time. I've been a leader. And then I also use continuous technical support. I'm always with my mentees. We discuss issues. We do demonstrations together of procedures. And then we come up with a way forward together. If there are gaps, I should be able to know where to come in and help the mentees. If there's need for training, I'll definitely seek authority to train the mentees so that they are able to be better mentors. Because as we mentor, we are preparing our mentees for the future, because they are the ones who take over from us, and they need to be in the right place for them to be tomorrow's leaders and tomorrow's mentors. So again, as a mentor, it is important to put in place some control measures. Without control, nothing can be done correctly. So you're supposed to, people need to know the boundaries of where you have to end and where you have to start from. And then most of all, it is important, like my colleagues have mentioned, to inspire and commend our mentees. So when they do well, I should be there to commend them. I should be there to inspire them by how I carry myself while I'm working. And then when we have good leaders and good mentors, we are assured of the benefits of tomorrow, which will be career development for our mentees. They will have, they'll build their confidence. If they had low confidence levels, after a lot of mentorship, they'll be able to build on that. They'll also learn new skills through the mentorship. We'll also build a networking group where we are able to network, approach each other, and learn from each other. So as you mentor, it's a lifelong process. It's not something you do once and you forget about it. It has to be for the rest of your career life. Even when you retire, I can see Grace here. We still contact Grace for a lot of things if we need to ask, because mentorship is about carrying on with something that you think is right. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Judith. Yeah, there's a phrase that I really like, which is aspire to inspire. And I think that we all want that. Thank you. So we're gonna move to our second topic, which is wellness. And first I'm gonna ask Lucy here, what have you done to prioritize your own health and wellness? Yeah.
Okay, so,
Yes, the microphone, please.
Lucy, is it for Lucia or it's for
Lucy.
Lucia? Is that-
Lucia, yes, sorry.
Okay, so for me, I'm just coming out of 4 years of school, and I've been working for just a few months. So I've realized that the way I prioritize wellness and health now is slightly different from how I did it when I was a student. So because I've been a student more than an ophthalmologist, I think I'll talk more about when I was a student. I think one of the things that really helps me to manage my days and to just be able to be a sane person at the end of the day is to exercise. I've always tried to fit in some exercise into my life. It's not always possible, but I aim to do at least 3 to 4 days of exercise, even just 30 minutes a day. And it looks different depending on the stage of my life. So it may take the form of going for a run or going to the gym, or even just following a YouTube video. I have a bit of equipment that I use at home, but I try to fit in exercise into my routine one way or another. Then the other thing I try to do is to eat healthy. I love good food, but I also try to eat healthy. So I have a rule of 80-20. I eat well 80% of the time, and then I give myself 20% to eat whatever I want to eat, because I've realized that if I cut out the things that I like ice cream and chocolate cake, I binge on them if I deny myself. So I give myself an allowance to eat those nice things, but most of the time I eat well. Then I also try to stay hydrated because I've noticed that if I don't stay hydrated, I'll be forced to sit in one position for a long period of time. You know how our work is as ophthalmologists. We tend to sit at the microscope, or even our operations, we sit when we're operating. So when I stay hydrated, I'm forced to get up at one point or another, 2 or 3 times during my work. That way I'm forced to keep my body moving. And a lot of studies have shown that ophthalmologists tend to have backaches later on in their life because of the way we sit, the way we posture ourselves. So I try to hydrate, and that forces me to move at least a few times during my day. Then the other thing I try to do is to make time to care for my own body. And this is not always easy, because there are other things that may try to take priority in my life. I've got small children, I've got a husband and other family members looking up to me. So looking after myself, it doesn't come naturally. I have to be deliberate about things like just going to do my hair, making sure that my clothes are not 10 years old, I haven't changed them. You know, just small things like that. I celebrate small victories, even if it just means taking one good bubble bath in a month. That is enough for me to feel good about my body. Then lastly, I just try to do what I can at a given time. I don't try to save the whole world. You know, there are people who, 10 people at a time will come and tell you, I need this from you, your kids need that from you, your sister needs that from you. I try to prioritize what is important at that particular time and say no to some of the things that I'm not able to do at that particular time. So I just do what I can, and I try not to feel guilty when I say no, just to keep myself sane. So those are some of the things I do.
Excellent. Yes, I think that we can all relate to that. Perfect. Then, Lucia, do you want to add on to that?
Thank you, Malua. And I totally agree with you. You can't save the whole world. And that's my motto these days. I have learned to have time out. So one of my favorite quotes as well is one that says, courage does not roar,
sometimes it's that little voice at the end of the day that says, I'll try again tomorrow. And that comes with work. My experience has been, I've been a workaholic most of my life, but I've come to a point where I've realized, and I think it's also just getting older, I realize I need time for me. Work is not everything. If I haven't finished something, of course, you have to prioritize what you have to finish up on. If something isn't done, there's always tomorrow. So I've learned to do that and just taking time out. And my favorite days are Friday because I know that I have the weekend. And there are times when I just don't do anything. I'm just watching TV and just the pleasure that comes with that. You know, that's the small things, just having to breathe, having to watch TV, having to eat. That also just rejuvenates me. So Sunday, I'm ready for work, and Monday I go in and I know I had myself a good weekend. And I think, like she said, you know, we have so many pressures, especially as women. You know, you're a wife, you're a mother, you have all these other responsibilities. Sometimes it's good to just take that time for yourself. Yeah, so I think just getting carried away, most of the times you're the one who's burnt out and you're stressed all the time. And it's not just good for your work, it's not good for your family. And so I think looking after yourself is the beginning of, you know, wellness for the family as well.
Thank you. Okay, so then I want to ask Dr. Mulurwa, what activities do you do aside from work and family?
So unfortunately, my life revolves around my work and my family. At this stage of my life, I think it's very difficult to run away from those two things. Once in a blue moon, when I get a chance, I spend time with my girlfriends. We just go out and just have girl time. Because there are certain things that you just need to talk about with your girlfriends, and your husband will not understand. Your work colleagues will not understand. You just need that group of girlfriends to. So I don't turn down when my girlfriends say we're having this. I will not turn that one down, even if I've got pressure from left, right, and center. But for that one, I will go. Then I also attend church, and I involve myself in certain church activities because that's something that is completely different from my work. And I feel like it's something that I'm giving back. When I'm serving in the church, it helps me to give back without expecting anything. Then, yeah, just I have one friend that I spend some time with. Like, yes, you can have a lot of friends, but there's that one friend who you share your deepest thoughts with. So I spend time with that one friend every so often. Yeah, but I don't have a lot of outside activities at the moment.
Okay, thank you. Phyllis, would you like to add on to that? Thank you.
I don't know what to add on exactly. A lot of it has been said. Maybe for me, apart from what the others have said, I love my dogs. I have Maltese dogs, which I like taking for a walk. So even if it's late in the evening, I get home and I say, guys, let's go. We go with my dogs, we are chatting, we are jumping all together. That's a lot of fun. I also like sometimes when I want to just be alone, I'll just get in the car, drive some 100 kids out of town with very loud rock music. Yeah, and come back and feel so refreshed. And the other thing I've learned is not to stress. I rarely stress. If there are problems, people will be stressing out. I'm like, okay, guys, it is well. Calm down, calm down. If we can't do it today, we'll look at it tomorrow. Just relax. I think Lucia is very aware of that one.
That's a problem for future Phyllis.
Look at it tomorrow.
Love it.
Let's just relax. Let's have fun. Yeah. Thank you.
Excellent. Thank you so much. Okay. Okay, great. So I would like then to ask Grace, for those of us with family obligations, how do you balance those?
Well, now I don't have so many family obligations, but when I was young, yes, one thing I learned is you need to have ability to delegate. And when you delegate, don't over delegate. That's also not good. For example, there are families that just want you to be the one to make the meals. There are certain meals that you can ask other people to help. They prepare halfway, then you come and finish off. Then also you need to let the family know that you also need your own time. So they know that this time is her time. I would like to sometimes on my own, I switch on the music and just dance. Just start dancing. I'm alone in the bedroom dancing. Yeah, they know today it's our time to dance. And sometimes also family obligations. I think I'll go back to the issue of expectations. I was fortunate when I was a young ophthalmologist. I had a very supportive husband. So if I was on call, those days, the ambulance would drive to your house and pick you up. You would actually follow and say, no, let the ambulance go. We follow behind, you park in the car park, and finish the case I have to do and go back. Let people also know your vision. Those of you that are coming up into responsible positions like SMS, head clinical care, share the vision with your colleagues. Let them know where you stand. If you say meetings will be from 7:30, live to it. It's 7:30. And that way, the stress issues is low, because then again, one other point you need to do is build a team around you, a team of individuals that know what you stand for. Those individuals will be able to deliver and make you look good, but you need to build that team. Yeah. So otherwise, other than that, I think most of the issues are interlinked, and most have been discussed already. Yeah.
Yeah. And then we're gonna move on to our last time. Okay. So let's see. When you see inequity on the podium, in leaderships, in awards, what have you done about it in the past, and how would you handle it ideally?
I think the issue of gender equity and also gender inequality needs a lot of discussion. So like Grace was just saying, obviously in ophthalmology and also in our setting in Zambia, we have more female ophthalmologists than male ophthalmologists. So most of the times you wonder like how, so we celebrate women. But in other instances, you find that it's different, and also in workplaces as well. So you get disregarded, and I'll share my experience. So like being young and being in a leadership role, sometimes you're not acknowledged. You know, you're put on the side. I'll give a very recent experience. Having been at this place, and this older man, and I was surprised because he's exposed, he's learned, was being very dismissive. I'm trying to talk to him about our work, and he's been very dismissive. But I think what raises that is the fact that you have to prove yourself and also the work that you do. And that comes with respect. And for him, that's changed his mindset after seeing that. So I think it's also about being patient. You know, some people, it's also sometimes it's cultural issues and you have to deal with that, but I think you have to prove yourself. Otherwise, I think there has to be a lot of discussions around that, you know, talk about it, talk about inequality, talk about inequity, because you're talking about issues around fairness and how to get, especially for women, you have to give them the resources to get where they're supposed to be. And that obviously then translates to equality, where there's fairness between men and women, and especially in the workplace. And also there are times when it's also reflected in the pay grade, you know, because you're a woman and a man, and you know, so it's also about, again, voicing out and talking about it. I think it also talks about, it also hinges on responsibilities. There's a whole thing about, oh, a woman can't do this, a woman can do this. Look at the people that we have here, these amazing women, you know, they're in leadership positions, they're women, they're doctors. So I think talking more and more about it would help.
Yeah, I agree. We have to speak up and let people know when it's okay, and when it's not okay, we have to say something about it.
Exactly.
So that they know that they cannot get away with it anymore.
Exactly.
Excellent, lovely. So, okay, for this, okay, do you think that our male colleagues have access to more mentorship or not?
I think, let me answer it this way. For the females, maybe when I was in school, we had two male colleagues and the two ladies. It's not really that they have more mentors or mentorship time, they have more time. Because for me as a woman, I have to do work and then rush home. Then they can remain at the hospital. They'll continue having lessons and all this mentorship. But for me, I have children, the child will get sick, I have to be in the hospital, the husband gets sick, I have to be there. But these guys are just, you just stand up and go. If he needs to be mentored, you just go to his fellow mentor male. For my mentor, maybe she also has a sick child. So you have all those, it's all about time and the different responsibilities we carry around us with family and work. And also maybe the men are more aggressive. I think that's one thing we need to learn from our male counterparts. If a male wants something, they'll go for it. After a bit shy, no, I'm a woman, let me not be this aggressive, but I think we need to come out and say, this is what I want and I'll get it. I think we need to go into that direction. It's very important. Let's not shy away. So if I need to do this case, I have to tell the madam, I want to do this case. Yeah, even if I'm not told, I'm not been asked to do it, I should be aggressive and say, I want to do this. I want to try this one today. I want to do this and that.
Yeah, to speak our minds, I think that's very, very, very important. Okay. So I would like to see if we have any questions in the chat group. Thank you. Okay, there we go. So we have some questions here in the chat. So I'll just read it. And they say, it's so good to see inspiring ladies, how greatly they are managing work and home. Wanted to know if Orbis has any setup in Pakistan. So we'll answer that question privately in the chat box. A lot of people want to join us. Thank you so much. We have messages saying that you are very inspiring from India. Warm greetings from Cali, Colombia, South America. This session is very informative with strategies and key takeaways, promoting female mentorship and supporting eye care professionals. This is very, very nice comments, very inspiring. I'm an optometrist from Zambia. I would really like to join you guys. So thank you so much for all of these comments. And I want to thank all of our panelists. I think that this is always very nice to be able to talk to colleagues, females, in a safe environment, and to go back and forward on all these very important topics with you all. And okay, thank you. Okay. Thank you. Okay, so a few more questions here. How do we work? How can we do work from ophthalmology from home? Okay. How do we break the cycle of gender gap in eye health? I think that we have addressed some of these topics. Let me search for one of these questions. Yes, I think that we have addressed a lot of these questions too. So, like I was saying, if you have any more questions, you can write to us at Orbis, or you can also write and type in the chat box and contact us through our website or write to us at orbis.org. I also would like to invite everybody to join CyberSight, our platform where you have free access to everything ophthalmology. So thank you so much for joining us again on our second live coffee hour. And we were live from Zambia. Thank you so much. Thank you.